All right, breaking news now on SportsCenter regarding Arkansas Razorbacks football coach Bobby Petrino. Our Joe Shad is here. Joe, what can you tell us?
Bobby Petrino will not return as Arkansas coach. The athletic director, Jeff Long, has done his review. It didn't take very long. Long determined that he could not move forward with Bobby Petrino as his coach. A press conference will take place in Fayetteville this evening, 7:15 Central, 8:15 Eastern, and we will hear Long explain why he couldn't move forward with Bobby Petrino in the wake of a motorcycle accident. Of course, we know the details, Jay, with a 25-year-old who Bobby Petrino had hired, a female, onto the football staff not long ago. Bobby Petrino apologizing to his family, to Arkansas. That apology, not enough. Bobby Petrino won a lot of games at Arkansas over the last 2 years, but it wasn't enough to overcome this terrible mistake.
So we're going to find out officially tonight why. Have your sources indicated a reason to you why they just could not keep him in that position?
I mean, there's some obvious things here. On the one hand, Bobby Petrino didn't just step out on his wife. He lied or misled or failed to disclose to his athletic department officials the fact that he was not riding on that motorcycle by himself, Jay. The fact that there was a 25-year-old female riding on the back of that motorcycle when it crashed, and that it was an employee who he had within the week brought over from the school, the fundraising efforts brought over into the recruiting office. There's no question that Arkansas will have the ability to argue that Petrino can be dismissed for cause in the wake of a pretty strongly worded morals clause in Bobby Petrino's contract that basically says if you embarrass the school, we have the right to terminate you. Of course, Bobby Petrino, a huge contract, recently got an extension that took him over $3.6 million.
Again, a live news conference on this at 8:15 Eastern, live on ESPN News. I don't know if it's too early to spin this forward, but who replaces him?
It's terrible timing. I mean, it's always bad timing when you lose an offensive guru, a very good football coach like Bobby Petrino, who brought Arkansas to a BCS game, won 11 games last year. It's going to be very difficult. And, of course, it's the SEC, Jay. I mean, you need a big-time coach to be able to compete, and Petrino was doing it. I mean, Arkansas projected to be a top 10 program this year. Some of the obvious names, Garrick McGee, the UAB first-year head coach who was the offensive coordinator at Arkansas last year, Gus Malzahn, who was in his first year at Arkansas State, very popular in the state of Arkansas. He does not have a lot of experience, obviously, in a head coaching position. And some of the Arkansas boosters and fans will want a big name, Jimmy Johnson, a Butch Davis, both of whom have connections to the state of Arkansas. But Butch Davis, for example, was let go from North Carolina amidst a controversial situation, although he wasn't cited in those NCAA reports. So we'll see later tonight where Jeff Long plans to go next.
There were some protests. There's lots of supporters on campus for Bobby Petrino. How do you think this news is going to go down or be felt in the campus?
I mean, one of the things that Long, the athletic director, certainly had to take into consideration was the tremendous amount of money that has been raised into the Arkansas athletic program over the last few years. The fact that they were moving forward with their facilities, big money in the arms race in the SEC. What will the booster reaction be? Certainly there will be some people who say and have said we need to separate morals from football. What goes on in Bobby Petrino's personal life should not affect whether or not he's our football coach. And then, of course, Jay, there will be others who say that the mistakes that Petrino made and the way they were compounded by failing to disclose the truth originally to his superiors, really, there'll perhaps be many people who understand this decision.
Back to football for a second. Just how good is this team that Petrino had?
Yeah, I mean, they have a quarterback in Tyler Wilson, a running back in Niall Davis coming off of injury, two players who could realistically be placed on Heisman Trophy preseason lists. They have a new defensive coordinator on staff. You see Petrino, not a great deal of success in the first 2 years, but has really turned it on over the last 2 years. So, this will be a jarring, shocking decision. It'll be very difficult for the players who are coming up in just about a week on their spring game. They're really going to have to regroup, find out what the direction is, what the plan is. Do you go with an interim coach? Do you go with a nationwide search? Do you bring in someone with familiarity with the program? Or do you go the other route and say, you know what, we're going to bring in someone with no connection to this resume, to the previous regime? Some big decisions for the Arkansas athletic director now.
Our Joe Shad reporting. Bobby Petrino out as Arkansas football coach.